Yo.
Oh my goodness. And tonight we are doing robots. Talking about robots. I just realized that's a pretty generic title. You probably don't even know what movie we're actually talking about. It's a new movie this year that came out in 2023 called Robots. And it is on Hulu right now. Why are we talking about this, Nicole?
Because we opened up Hulu and it was the first thing that was there and we clicked on it.
That's right. Everyone's away for the next week or so we need something to talk about, and we just did a theater movie, so we just needed something on streaming. I haven't really been keeping up with what the new random crappy stuff that's been popping up lately, and so we just blindly grabbed. We read the synopsis. That's about it.
That's right.
90 minutes. Charles is a womanizer, while Elaine is a gold digger. The duo learn humanity when forced to team up and pursue robot doubles of themselves. This has a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 38% with the audience, and a 5.5 on IMDb. So, not the highest scores. Again, we didn't... usually we tend to pick stuff that are on the higher end of critical scales, or just big stuff. Usually we don't pick on small stuff like this, but maybe that's not what we're going to do. Maybe we disagree with those critics and we enjoyed this movie, perhaps. If you haven't seen Robots, Hulu, 90 minutes, that's what's going on. And we're going to spoil it here now. So I just read that little synopsis there. You get the general idea. It's 2032. It's like a near future, 10 years in the future-ish. And our two leads are Shailene Woodley and Jack Whitehall, who are TV people, I guess you would recognize them from. I don't really see them in very much stuff that I watch, but I think they're recognizable faces. And you got Jack Whitehall playing Charles, who is like a trust fund kid, and he sleeps with women all the time, and he's gross and misogynistic, and he sleeps with all these women by using his android double C2, who is exact copy of him and is just an android who has a generally pleasant personality and does his bidding so that he can sleep with women faster. And he meets the android meets another android, not knowingly at first, E2, who is Elaine's double, and Elaine is a woman who uses her double to go on dates with guys so they buy her stuff, and then she uses the android to sleep with them so she doesn't have to, and she can get more purses.
She's a sugar baby without them knowing she's a sugar baby.
There you go. That's a much better way of describing it. Anyway, these two are not the most likable people, but their androids are pretty much complete slaves to them, and they fall in love pretty quickly on, and they're going to run away together. So now we have to follow the two not-so-likable human characters try to stop the androids from running away to Mexico together. Because in this world, androids are uncommon and not allowed. I mean, you can have like the sanitation ones that like do like menial jobs and stuff. There's a whole illegal immigration arc in this film as well. But whatever, we'll talk about that. Robots. What did you think about it, Nicole?
Yeah, why do we gotta do that whole thing? That was
all of it, the whole thing.
I guess, yeah. The Republican immigration situation was like, bam, right in your face in the beginning, and it's kind of strewn a little bit throughout. They reference QAnon, I guess, a lot with the friend.
Oh, yeah. Fat Ninja,
yeah. And they have what look like Hispanic robot masks, so that's interesting. I've seen Shailene Woodley before. I mean, she's just the same type of character all the time, in my opinion. But I haven't seen that actor before. I don't know if I'm supposed to know him.
Jack
from
Whitehall
else.
is in, let's see, he's in British TV shows as like the lead.
He wouldn't come across my radar really then.
They're called Fresh Meat, Bad Education, and then he's in movies as as like he's in like kids movies like Jungle Cruise, Clifford, and what else? A movie called Mother's Day, The Nutcracker. He sounds like a YA actor, or maybe even younger than that.
Yeah, well, so is she. I mean, she was in The Fault in Our Stars, so...
Hey, there you go. You got two YA actors who are now in their early 30s, mid-30s, and they're doing, I don't know, like raunchy B movies, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
That's what the careers have turned to.
I don't think that the 20% is when I said "oh wow" earlier. I guess I was shocked to think it would be that high. I don't know.
Oh, that high? Oh.
I mean, we sat there and watched it. Felt like longer than an hour and 30 minutes for some reason. I think the best part of the movie is the scientist that creates these illegal clones. He's kind of funny. But the way out of sync storytelling and the like misuse of the scenes, I just feel like they're strewn together so poorly. Very distracting, and it was like, I can't fucking watch this anymore. That's how I felt like as we got to like the hour mark. I'm like, no, please. There's just some really foolish things in here. They did well enough in me remembering who is who, meaning the clone versus the real person, because I usually get confused with that kind of stuff. So they did find enough. But, yeah, really jumping into their becoming, like, real beings very quickly. So, that was interesting. I don't know. This is kind of tough.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I would if I had known this movie was like this kind of movie, we chose on a whim, we were just gonna be like, you know what, anything new, whatever, just pick it. It was high up on Hulu, so that means like any other person like us, we're scrolling along, could just as easily have this recommended, so it's not like we dug for this, it's just across your plate. And it's, it's just like a lot, it's like a lot of the movies that I watch to pump my numbers up, basically, just to be like, yeah, I'll watch it, and like, every once in a while, 1 in 10 of these movies is like pretty good and like kind of interesting, and I have like a small list of them of like these kind of smaller, a couple of people you've heard of, brushed onto the thing, maybe didn't get good critical, but sometimes there's stuff in certain ones that I like, and this isn't one of those. It doesn't have that value. It's no. One of the other 9. It's one of the other 9. It's I would say the first 10 minutes I knew that I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. This is going to be a tough one. And then then the next 10-ish minutes, I was kind of maybe coming around. Like I thought we had a chance. I didn't look up the scores or anything. I want to be a purist. And when the introduction to the actual robot, like the first time, like we're following it around, and it's very Hallmarky, kind of on purpose-y because it's the robots, and like it's so he's robotic.
Well, we have to realize who's the robot and who's not, because I feel like they don't do a very good job of us understanding that. He acts just like him.
You think the two robot men act alike?
I mean, if they gave him like a little bit more of maybe a robotic voice or something, I don't know. I guess this is supposed to be so well created.
Oh, did you? I had no trouble distinguishing personalities. I just thought they were boring, stereotypical kind of characters. I thought
maybe that's what I feel. I didn't have a problem, but I mean, it was just like, I don't know. I think it's a stupid concept. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think it was bad execution. Because I think the concept seems okay to me, because it's based on some short story by some guy, the robot who looked
I think I was confused. Sorry. Yeah. I think I was confused that his robot was going into the real world, but human was going into the real world. I think I got kind of confused on that in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, there was... So, at the very beginning, or I guess when they meet each other, when the robots meet each other, I do agree with you there. I kind of forget. Is he dating?
It's not the robot, both robots. When he's out ice skating, isn't it the robot?
I think when he's out ice skating, the very first 10 minutes is all the robot. I'm pretty sure, and it's that other girl. And then later on, he goes out. I think, and then
and then he goes. It's like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I was confused for that little bit, but after that I was okay because after that they split up, and then the rest of the movie, the majority of the movie is the robot couple is paired off screen, and we're following the human odd couple of the trash people who are shitty. So I was I guess I was hung up a little bit when they were first doing the dating, but then once they have the switch up, you called it the little notes on the refrigerator, and so he goes to the wrong thing and says all the horrible raunchy things, and then he turns the lights on. It's like that kind of stuff where I'm like, I could see that.
That was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, a few beats like that are okay
because he said stupid things. Like it was just funny with what he said.
No,
we knew that was going to happen, but I mean, it was funny.
That's why I thought, I think the script could have used some punching up. I think it says a short story it's based off of called The Robot Who Looked Like Me by Robert Sheckley. And usually when you got a short story, you just beef it up to a 90-minute thing by adding jokes all around it, adding jokes all around the robot premise. And I think that they should have done a little bit more of that. I don't think they don't do too many robot jokey stuff, because the majority of the movie after the beginning, which is I would say the first 10 minutes is kind of rough, and then for 20-ish minutes I kind of like it. Like it is a strong word, but it's kind of being clever. The reveal of the robots is a little clever. The gag of them begging for 5 hours or whatever, and oh, this is very nice, I agree, yes. There's just some bits in there, and then when it's the humans on the run in quotations, it's just fucking boring as hell.
So bad.
It's so boring from the half-hour mark to the most of the rest. There's it's got 5 or 10 minutes every once in a while. The jail scene I can remember, because Fat Ninja has to come in, so that's that's an attempt at a joke. But when it's them just they're in a cabin at one point and they go to someone's house.
That was probably some of the worst movie making I've ever seen, was the whole cabin scene and the morning after. It was absolutely horrific.
It's just sloppy and boring and nothing and blah. That's the kind of stuff that I watch, what do I watch? My hundreds of movies a year. I got 40 of them are like this, they're just just nothing's going on, and I give them full shakes because I want to give them a try, and there's some stuff in here that's not terrible. Do we like any of the? So what's we got? We already said Fat Ninja a million times. We got the half brother and the dad and the grumpy guy on the board of directors, and
they did what we don't like, which is helping us to understand the relationship by using generic terms of half bro.
Yeah, half bro's pretty bad. Yeah,
I've never heard even any other movie say half bro before. That's just embarrassing.
I guess because it's so extra, it's beyond, because no one would call you that, it is a specific name. But yeah, I cannot stand in any movies when they call each other bro and sis organically, in quotations, organically. I cannot. No brother or sister has ever called their bro or sis. No.
I feel like we could have come to that conclusion by the fact that he's the only one with a fucking British accent. I think we could get it. This was so unnecessary.
It's just I don't know. If you're writing a thing, just think of a more clever way to introduce, tell us that he's the half brother. There's just a way to do it. You just have to. I don't know. I don't have one off the top of my head.
I don't think anybody has ever mastered it, so that's why people keep saying bro and sis, because there's no way to do it, I guess.
No, it is actually, it's not true at all. There's plenty of movies that do it, and you don't notice they do it because they're well written.
Right. I mean, why can't you just say, oh, did you call mom yesterday? I fucking get it.
Exactly.
At that point.
That's exactly what, but they have to drive the point they're half home, so it's a little trickier. You have to be my mom's cooler than your mom, or so, I don't know what it fucking there's good movies. You don't notice them pointing out the familial relationships. They are obvious to you, and they're
But
like,
what difference did it make that they were half siblings? Because I don't think that made a difference of the outcome of what he would have done to him. He didn't like him regardless.
I guess just to
So
distance him a little bit more, like, oh, his full brother, because at the end, if he's your full brother, you want him to reconcile, but he doesn't reconcile with his brother at the end, does he? He just like he makes him have a serious allergic reaction, which is very, very. You should not do that. Do not nut allergies, people. Very scary. Trying to think who else. Oh, there's the inventor guy. Not inventor. The guy who has. I guess we haven't talked about E3 yet. The third Shailene Woodley character.
Oh my god.
And the little nerdy guy who what's his actor's name? Paul Rust, who's from Love, the show on the Netflix show with Jillian Jacobs. I don't know if you ever watched that. I watched like one season of that. It was okay.
No, I don't think so.
It was okay. He's fine, but yeah, he plays like a weirdo guy, and he's got a little.
I said he was my favorite part earlier, but I actually forgot about the love doll, which is so awkward. And if I were her, I guess she's kind of like numb to the situation based on what she's done with her clone, her second one, her original, that she doesn't feel as bothered by this, what we've learned is like a stalker, weird person to her. Like, she's just okay. She just gets over so quickly that he's got this like love doll of her. I'm just so perturbed.
Yeah, I don't. Perturbed is the right word. Like I get these are supposed to be like, whoa, outrageous, raunchy, whoa, I can't believe they're doing this, but like,
yeah, but they didn't do it enough. Like,
no, it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like kind of lame. Like, okay,
yeah.
like,
They give him like this bright blue truck, which is so obviously going to be a huge part of the movie. But I feel like they really tone it down to it's just this one part, and it never comes up again. I don't know. It's just little stuff. They made it so important, but it wasn't.
Yeah, and like I don't even think about like there's other problems too. Like we are focusing on like real basic stuff, let alone like the logistical of like, oh, this world, there's all these robots everywhere, and like there's this thing of like, oh, they're taking the jobs. Illegal immigrants take our jobs, so we're gonna build this wall, and then we're gonna have robots. We're gonna build a wall, just like everyone loves, and then the robots are gonna take those jobs, and then Fat Ninja, who's like a QAnon guy, I guess, is like, oh, this robots, they are doing our work for free, and now I don't have my work, and I'm a disabled vet, and then he's a chef or whatever. Like, this stuff is just not funny, is my point. Like that, like oh, it's so half baked, and like you gotta flesh that out. It's like a first draft. Like, this is like, okay, that's a good idea. Like, what are you gonna do in the movie? Like, what's the actual thing you're gonna put in the movie? Like, you're not gonna actually.
The other thing, I don't know if you noticed at the beginning, it's one of those movies that has like 6 production houses.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time with these kind of things.
That?
It's because they're movies are hard to make, and they're expensive, and it's hard, and they're time constraints. Like, this is probably a nightmare of we have $1 million here and $500K here, and we have 2 weeks with this actor and 1 day with this actor, and oh shit, this thing fell through, and like, I'm sure it was a huge, anything that's not, a giant studio picture is a pain in the ass to make. These mid-budget movies are like, I like. There were times I'm watching it. Remember towards the end, and it's Shailene Woodley and Jack Whitehall as their robot selves, and they have announced their wedding, and they're doing their little like dance, and everyone's kind of looking at them awkwardly, and that's supposed to be like, oh, they're weird dancing, old, and that's kind of like haha awkward, funny, but like I'm looking at it like it's just those two actors, and everyone has to on this set, and everyone has to stay, like these 40 extras have to stand around and like kind of like clap and like move their shoulders back and forth, and they probably did that for like 3 hours, just that stupid. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, and the set looks kind of cheap, or I don't even know what's going on here, like, or is it like it just looks not like high grade. It looks like oh, they're stretched. Like, this is, I see all the strings, I see all the seams pulling, and they're professionals trying to put on a good show here, but it's just kind of cheap.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just feel like the whole location situation is pretty bad too. I feel like they're supposed to be like in the deep desert of Texas, right at the Mexico border, because they get there within daylight. So it's not like they're days away from the border. So it just doesn't look like that. I don't know. I've never been there to know, but it's a big mess.
It's not as it's not as good as like what are some like the big comedies we've done this year, like No Hard Feelings. That was like a real theater, old school throwback, feels like a real movie comedy, and that was like, but I would also not like this is not great, but obviously, but like, remember what was on our bottom 5 couple years ago, that Rob Corddry film, and who else was in that? You know what I'm talking about. Bad Therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Or Bad Therapy. Like, this is better. In my opinion, like, it's of the same production quality. Like, I see the same kind of, like, flat, cheap, thrown together. These actors weren't really given much direction. They're just doing their best with I'm here for a week kind of thing. And it feels like that, but this feels a little bit better than that. I don't know if you remember that movie at all, but...
Not really.
I'm just trying to compare it to other like crappy. Like, I know it's shitting on it, but like I've other like comparable movies, other low budget ilk of these like C-list TV actors.
I don't know. If I'm being honest with you, it is so difficult to talk about this movie because it's just so bad. Like, I can't even like say anything about it.
Then we can call it early then. We don't need to stretch this out. Do you?
I mean, I think the numbers speak for themselves here.
You agree with them? You're saying?
Yeah, I told you I thought it'd be worse. So
you thought it'd be worse than 20, really?
Yeah, I mean, there's like one funny part, and the rest is just, oh, do you sell those videos of yourself? Because I'd buy some. Like, ugh.
Yeah, come on, people want to. I guess they don't want to see it. Like Hulu's putting this up, like it's being advertised like across the banner. Like we we didn't click through to find this. This was like right on. I click on the movies, and then this was on the first 12 things that I visibly see on the page when I'm looking at the screen. So it's there. They're pushing it. Go see this. I guess we should say if we should. Do you recommend Robots, Nicole?
No, some asshole loves this movie, I'm sure, but I am not that asshole.
Some asshole loves this movie. Look. I don't like doing these kind of movies where like I like shitting on things that like are made by delusional idiots like the Tommy Wiseaus and the Neil Breens of the world. I like shitting on the Adam Sandlers of the world because they are 100 millionaires. They don't care about my opinion, and I think they're hack frauds. So, but when it's these kind of movies, I feel like it's just like people kind of trying and like not quite being up to stuff. Like they just couldn't get it together. The team behind this, the writer, director team, production, they just scrambled, tried to make a thing. I don't know how much work was put in. It's a mixed bag. And I wouldn't recommend this either. This is one of those 90-minute ones that you're like, is this a 90-minute one I can click on and be like okay with? No, it is not. You can scroll to the next 90-minute thing full of C-list people that is also probably... You could do something else with your time. You could do something else with your time. I
agree with that. You could.
You could. 2 not recommends for Robots, and we will be returning shortly. And I am very hyped for Killers of the Flower Moon, which is you're going to have to see probably because it's going to be very good. The new Scorsese, 4 hours long almost. Oh
my god.
It's gonna be glorious. That's like 3 of these almost.
Oh my god.
The meantime, if you have things to recommend to us, Films with a Woman in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost, and you can email the show filmswiththewomen@gmail.com, and you can find us on YouTube. Just look up Films with the Women in My Life. All right. Well, thanks for trooping through this one, Nicole. Being on for Robots.
Mm-hmm.
Till next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.